everyone, my name is Ishan and welcome to the Race Monkey. We are in the beautiful Goa amidst these wonderful mountains and in the peak monsoon season. Although the weather gods have been very favorable for us, the sun's out and we also have the Citroen Basalt. Now this is a significant product for Citroen because this is the first Cross Coupe that has been launched in India under 20 lakh rupees. This compares against the Tata Curve, which is also launching in the month of August. Citroen bets huge on the upgrades that it has done over the Aircross and the C3 hatchback. And we are going to talk to you about how it looks on the outside, what are the key changes done to this car both structurally and dynamically. I'm going to take you on a drive and really make you understand if it drives as much as it looks. So without further ado, let's get on with it and tell you more about it. So let's talk about the exterior and what all is there which makes the Basalt really handsome, because I've been looking at this car for the last many hours. Now to start off with, this face has a bit of a snouty edge to it over the C3 Aircross, which it is largely based on. It has a wider track as well. These haunches come out quite a bit, making it look very muscular. Now the airbox is over here with this large air dam, which puts in a lot of air with high pressure because of how it has been designed into the intercooler. Now coming to the side, we have 16-inch diamond cut alloy wheels, which are shorted to 205/60 R16 tires. Perhaps they could have gone for 17-inch alloy wheels because of the size of the car. These do look slightly undertired. Now onto the side, this is typical Citroen affair. Flappy style door handles still exist. A lot of people complain. I feel these are more functional than aesthetic, and they're very easy to maintain and replace if, God forbid, they go off. Citroen has still retained this keyhole over here, which reminds us of cars from the 1990s. Now from the side, the silhouette is very beautiful. You've got this coupe-esque shape which started off from the BMW X6 about 2 decades ago. But look at this. We now have this design in cars close to 10 lakh rupees. Who would have thought? Now coming to the back, this is the element that I like the most. This muscle line looks like a tongue, which is creating a frequency over here. Now this cut over here in the center of the tail light does push through a lot of wind while you're going at high speeds, creating a good amount of vortex while it's going. Citroen claims that it has a much better coefficient of drag over the C3 Aircross and even the C5 Aircross, which is on the premium end, because of how it has been designed and how everything has been put together in terms of the elements. You've got this very weird applique over here with orange insert. I don't know, this just looks out of place over here. But now talking about the rear end of the Basalt, you got this massive Basalt lettering over here. A lot of people would prank all these Basalt owners and get rid of the Ba or the Alt to either name it Bas or Salt. It's going to be a bit funny, but we still don't know why Citroen chose to have that name on it. Now from the rear, this looks very handsome with these two butt cheeks on the roof and the shark fin antenna and a massive boot lid. Now since you're at the back, we've got a massive 470-liter boot which can accommodate good amount of luggage for 4 people on a trip, and this is a hefty door. But the real thing is that Citroen has finally thickened the sheet on the outside. This is now 1.25 thicker than what it was in the Aircross and the C3. And while you're shutting the boot, listen to this. That is sound of quality. So that's it for now. Let's get on the inside and talk to you more about how the interiors are on the Basalt. So here on the inside of the Basalt, there is a lot of things which have changed, not just visually, but in terms of quality as well. Now, to start off with, the biggest gripe that Citroen customers had in the first generation of their cars was the lack of automatic climate control system. Citroen has heard all those customer demands and have installed an automatic climate control system, which is a single zone, but it works quite effectively because this is the Subaru's hardware. Now, let's start off the car. You get the same 10.25-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You get tweeters and 4 speakers in the car, which are good enough, but not something which sounds significantly more premium. But the major change for a person with OCD is the quality of plastics. The IP has changed, and you now get soft touch plastics on the dashboard and on the door cards as well, which really makes it feel pretty premium over what it was in the C3 Aircross and the C3 hatchback. Now, as you can see, the phone is installed over here, and you get a wireless charger with 15-watt capability. That is also something that was missing out on the previous generation of the C3 Aircross and the C3 hatchback. Citroen has now heard it, and they have launched it with this Basalt. You still get this place to keep your mobile phone, 2 little cubby holes over here, and this slidable central armrest with storage on the inside, which really makes a huge difference in your driving while you're doing long distance journeys. But a huge miss for Citroen over here, even in today's time, is that they haven't installed the cruise control module, which is available in Latin American markets. Why, Citroen? How expensive is it? We really wanted a car to do long distance journeys in absolute comfort, and that is a key element which differentiates it from the others. A cruise control system is a must have in today's day and age, especially when you're clocking a product over 10 lakh rupees of price tag. Here in the rear seat of the Citroen Basalt, things are much more upmarket than what it was before, even in the C3 Aircross. Now, to start off with, I'm 5 feet 8 inches tall. This driving seat has been positioned as per my driving preference. I have got good amount of knee room, decent amount of headroom as well, but if you are anywhere above 6 feet tall, this will rub your hairline. Now, what you get is a central armrest with 2 cup holders and a mobile/tablet holder over here. You get these massive chairs with winged rear headrests, which do make your long distance trips very comfortable. And something which has really got my attention, an adjustable under thigh support. Who would have thought that in a car that is close to 15 lakh rupees, this would have it as standard in the top of the line variant? Now, as an addition to the C3 Aircross, you also get rear AC vents for both the passengers, 2 USB-A style charging ports, and there's a good amount of natural light that's coming into the cabin and makes this rather light cabin much more airy to sit in on long distances. The seat backrest is a little upright for my liking. It could have been a little more reclined, but not something that you'll complain of when you're doing 400 to 500 kilometers of road trips at a single go. Good amount of cubby holes as well to keep your knickknacks. You've got seat pockets on both the sides. This is a nice, comfortable cabin for your family and your friends to spend long distance trips in. You would love this for sure. So the Citroen Basalt, although this is based on the C3 Aircross at large platform wise, and the way it is designed, it also embodies the C3 from the front. If you're hearing too much of crashy noise, it's because we are driving through some torrential rains in Goa right now. It's absolutely pouring hell, to be honest. That's a porthole. Barely felt it. Now, Citroen has done quite a lot of reinforcement to the suspension setup as well. There is a higher grade of suspension bushes and dampers that have been used, and it really makes a huge difference in the way this car just soaks in all the bumps. We are not driving through very smooth roads, and you barely feel anything on the inside. The roll and pitch too, while you're driving aggressively, has been properly contained. The engineering part of this car is well taken care of. The steering setup too really feels confidence inspiring. Although this is an electronic power steering, it won't be as direct as a hydraulic unit that you might get in cars like the Tata Nexon. But the way it interacts with the driver while you are doing high speed runs, it is pretty much confident at doing that. You have a lot of feedback coming in from the front wheels, and it is not something that you associate with modern cars at large. Now, secondly, it is the sound insulation or the noise insulation, I would say. That has been improved as well. There is a good amount of sound deadening between the cabin and the engine through the firewall, and even the door cards have been damped slightly. Most of the damping happens because of the change of this IP material on the door cards and even on the dashboard. It is a much softer material that Citroen has now chosen, and that also helps in keeping the noise levels at a lower decibel as compared to how it was before, in addition to the sound deadening material that is already being used. Other things that really allure me at large is the climate control system. Now, never did I ever thought that an air conditioning system in any car would go at max below 17 or 18 degrees Celsius. This, however, has its lower temperature setting at 13 degrees Celsius. Believe it or not, this is the same system that is being used by Toyota, that is the Subaru's air conditioning hardware. And it has a lower temperature of 13 degrees Celsius. Not even the Daikin air conditioner at my home goes as low as 13 degrees Celsius. And this is a huge achievement considering in the north, and especially around Delhi NCR where I live, the temperatures are going up to 55 and 56 degrees Celsius. So you will be pretty comfortable driving the Basalt. I don't know why it always gets on my tongue. I would really want to call it the C3 Aircross because it is exactly the same on the inside. But this is the Basalt. I really couldn't understand why Citroen has named it Basalt. They haven't discussed any of the facts and figures as to why did they come up with this name. It just is. Now, another great factor about the Basalt in terms of its driving character is the overall aerodynamic. This nose that protrudes out in the front really creates a better aerodynamic efficiency. Now, the overall coefficient of drag in this car is far better than the C3 Aircross, and especially because of that rear haunch with the coupe design and the way the roof has been designed, the way the air cuts through the rear tail lights, it all comes out to collectively make this car more aerodynamically efficient. That's a great thing. You really enjoy driving this car. I think I need to put my temperature a little up in this new climate control system because it's getting really cold on the inside. I've set it to 21-22 degrees Celsius and it's freezing cold on the inside. Although the temperature outside is about 30 degrees Celsius. Pretty comfortable thing indeed. The seats are very cushy indeed. Citroen knows best how to make super comfortable seats, and in addition to this very nice suspension setup, it becomes a very comfortable experience. a lot of people would be complaining, oh man, you would not be getting components if anything goes wrong. You know, this white seat and this fabric cum PVC material would tear off. That's a problem with every single manufacturer. But even then, Citroen has used good quality materials and they look like they'll last for a long time. But the only gripe I have is Citroen should have given a darker color option for the interiors, because as we all know, these very light cabins do tend to get very dirty very quickly. So yeah, that's going to be a problem for the owners. Now, as an unpopular opinion, I really want to discuss this thing that a lot of people have been poking me about, that Citroen would be a huge failure in terms of how they're placing their product. Now, in one of the podcasts and a video that I posted on my social media, I have discussed this, that Citroen is a very nascent company. It's only been 4 years since it has established itself with its products in India, and that too when the competition is really, really strong. We've got the likes of the Hyundai, Kia, Toyota, Maruti Suzuki, and whatnot. When all these large and very popular manufacturers entered India, the competition was much lesser. The demands for cars was much lesser than what we have today. And henceforth, Citroen has a tough battle to fight. But even still, the improvements in the product have been really significant, and I really appreciate Citroen's engineering and product team to be working that hard. Yes, in the first half of how they have functioned with the product, it has been really bad. The product and marketing team really had no sync between them, and they had a huge failure in alluring the Indian buyers. They had not given the cars with the essential hygiene features that we needed in this segment at around 10 to 15 lakh rupees. They missed out on the essentials, and they now have woken up and have supplied those in good quality as well. So it's a win-win situation for Citroen. But it might be a little late for people to realize that yes, they are on the improvement cycle. But if they do, this car is going to be really rewarding. The suspension setup, the ride quality, the steering feedback, the comfort overall in this car, and these little ergonomic features that Citroen has filled this car with are really significant. And the way this thing drives and holds itself onto the road is very impressive. Yes, it's going to take a lot of time for Citroen to set up shops across the country. They are promising about 200 after sales service points and workshops in India by the end of 2024. That's a huge statement. But if they do that, and if they expand themselves in the next 3 years, there's nothing more practical as a product on Indian roads than a Citroen under 15 lakh rupees. They know that they are packaging it with the features that they can sustain over the next 10 years of ownership. They can fix it if, God forbid, anything goes wrong. They are testing it thoroughly. They are taking their time to really make a difference to this industry. And henceforth, it's showing up in their products slowly but significantly. So the Citroen Basalt, a lot is going on for it because this is going to be competing in a very fresh segment. Cross Coupe is under 20 lakh rupees. The only contender it has right now is the Tata Curve, which is getting launched at the exact same date as the Citroen Basalt. But what is unique about the Basalt is that engine is really very responsive. The gearbox is going to be excellent, both manual and automatic. The suspension for long distance trips is going to be extremely good. It's got good amount of space, very thoughtful features. It's extremely ergonomic, looks good as well, minus the fact that these flappy style door handles would look a little flimsy, and that's a thick sheet now. Citroen has made quite a lot of improvements in the engineering terms, in terms of packaging, and it now becomes much more desirable as a product. Yes, it's a very nascent brand in India, but give it some time and it will prove to everyone that French can make very good cars indeed, and this is a true testament to it. I hope you liked our video. Thank you for watching and tuning in. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Instagram handle as well. And do let us know in the comments about how you feel of the Basalt. And let us know what you think about the name as well, because I think it's a little too quirky. Cheers. Always wear your seatbelts. Stay safe.